Ladies and gentlemen, we have a great interview today, something that has meant a lot to me because this man got me an extra credit question right when I was in 10th grade, which was a long time ago. We have the one and only Barry Horowitz on the show. He is being welcomed to the Wrestle Magic Pod, our family, with everybody, with Mav, Scully, Sean Bush, Jimmy Street, our producer. Everybody is doing a great job, and now we have the phenomenal Barry Horowitz, the man. First of all, Barry, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for that wonderful, stupendous intro. I appreciate it, and I'm really glad to be here.
Well, first of all, let's do this together. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right. So now that we got that out, go ahead, sir.
But the one you were doing behind, that's exclusively for pay-per-views, WrestleMania, and Madison Square Garden.
You actually have a differentiate. That's awesome that you differentiate it, or you just mess with me. If you're ribbing me, that's fine.
This is the quick one. This is the spot show one. This is for the fan one with the picture real quick. This is for a quick move. But when I extend it all the way back there, 80 miles, that's for an unbelievable move, suplex, something technical, of course, and Madison Square Garden and pay-per-views only.
All right,
and that's the way I roll, Daddy.
All right, Mr. Horowitz, first of all, I've been a huge fan of yours for many years, but we're going to get into why and what you mean to me in time, because right now this is your forum, and I want you to give me an expose of how you got into the business. I believe you're taught by the Malenkos, if I'm not mistaken, and I guess that's why you're so good at countering moves and doing like small packages and more mat wrestling moves, which I think is really, really amazing. But I want you to tell me in your own words why you got in and your little lineage. Just tell me about it, please, sir.
Sure. Well, first of all, I mean, the lengthy, I'm going to have to make the short version, of course. And, but really, I was just like 13 years old, and my parents and I just moved in a new house in Florida. And of course, when you move, the moving truck's not there. You don't have nothing. So you got a TV set. You throw it on a cardboard box. You ordered a pizza. You're waiting for the truck. You're waiting to move in. So what happens is, I don't know the channels or nothing. And it was WTOG channel 44 out of Tampa, St. Pete. And there's this, it's after 7, obviously, because it starts at 7, Championship Wrestling from Florida. Excuse me. And I see Mr. Clean against Thunderbolt Patterson. And I'm going, what the heck? And I'm looking at this. And of course, at 13, you've got pipe dreams. You want to be a doctor, plumber, lawyer, magician, whatever. And I did have those aspirations, but this one stuck forever. And I saw it, and I just kept on watching constantly, different wrestling shows, different wrestling magazines, anything, however I could get to a live event. And then, of course, I wanted to do that. And I figured in my mind, the proper way is basically there's paying dues before and after and during. Well, in my eyes, the pay to dues was, well, first of all, let's get a little bit of a background. So between junior high school, and a year at FSU, I was on the wrestling team honing my amateur background, which I enjoyed, but you was just using it for a stepping stone. I was just, I won state championship once, but I wasn't there to progress an Olympics, an NCAA. I knew where I was going, and the long-range goal did work with that. So I believed in that, the weight training, the listening to different people kept my, listening at 13 and 14, a maturity level. You got to be careful who you listen to, who you follow, as far as in the amateur ranks, as far as in the gym. You just got to pick and choose there. So I thought I did it well. And finally, a friend of a friend, I met an entrepreneur in Tampa, and this man had connections with the Buccaneers, with everybody. And he liked me, and he says, So you want to be, and he was Jewish and I'm Jewish, so maybe there was a favor there. Yeah, really. So anyway, he says, I could open the door. You need to go through it and shut it. I said, no problem. So he gives me the address to the great Malenko. I meet him at a judo gym with his sons and other greats like Karl Gotch, Karl von Stronheim, and there was others, but these are the ones, the Malenko family and them honed my craft. They basically built the foundation of Barry Horowitz. So we decided we were on judo mats for at least 6 months, and you're taking bumps on judo mats like that. And Oof. The class started at least 20 or 30 people. I think it honed down to hardly any, and only a few really made it into mainstream. They gave up, or they didn't want to do this. I don't know what their deal was. I was concerned about Barry, and I just 18 months of training, which I'm a big believer in lengthy training in this particular situation. 18 months, and we went from judo mats in 6 months to 2 rings, a 20-foot ring and an 18-foot ring inside a dilapidated mattress warehouse near Raymond James Stadium. At that time, it was called the Big Sombrero, Tampa Stadium, and 40 degrees in the winter, which in Florida, that's cold. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And then 104 in the summer. This is after working some kind of 8-hour job, very physical, and weightlifting, warming up with the Malenkos just to get in the ring is an hour. You're there 3 hours. And you're going to keep your mouth shut, and you're going to listen, and if you don't, you're not going to progress, you're going to get stretched, and then you're going to get your ass kicked out of the building. So, happily for me, I didn't have to go through any of that. So, fast forward again. Malenko says, you're ready. He says this, he says that. He gives me various addresses and phone numbers. I mean, a list of lists. I wish I had that list still. I mean, it's iconic.
I would love to know that list, to be honest with you. I would love to know it. I said I would love to know that list, because I'm sure Stu Hart was on that. I'm sure Paul Bosch was on that at that time. I mean,
Don Owens,
Bill Watts,
Eddie
Don
Graham,
Owens, yeah, Portland, definitely, yes.
Eddie Graham, of course, Jim Crockett,
Sheik,
of course, the WWF Vince Senior.
Yeah, Vince Senior. Okay, so I'm not cutting you off. Please go ahead.
No problem. So anyway, I look at the list. I got to figure out the map way, where I'm driving, where I'm going towards. What do I know? Well, I said, I'm going to head towards north. I said, for some reason, I had some family, some friends that way. And what the hell? Why not? I got nothing else. I'm let's see. I'm between 20 and 21 at this time. Okay. And I get a sweet deal on a beach in South New Jersey. It's actually called Belmar, New Jersey.
So it's about 80, 81, something like that?
Yeah, you're right. 81. Okay. And I get a beautiful beach house, literally half a mile from the beach. The gym, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes away. And I get a part-time job. I get this house. I said, now, all I'm concerned about is doing my job at the part-time job, but making money, got to keep the car going and got to keep me going. Well, I swear, where the beach is on the corner is a payphone. The old doors open up, get in there. Yeah, you got it. Okay. I call Gorilla Monsoon at his house. No cell phone. And I thought I was working him, but of course I wasn't. I thought I was pretty smart, but I dial a number. I don't remember if he answered or his wife answered back in the day. Hey, could I speak to Gorilla Monsoon? I get on the phone. He doesn't give me a hard, hey, who is this? Blah, blah, blah. I'm trained, at that time, I didn't say the Malenkos because they were an outlaw group. And back then you couldn't work. They wanted to hear big names, Matsuda, Eddie Graham, and whatnot. Malenko was telling me this too. After the years passed, they don't give a crap. Okay?
Okay.
So I tell him, he goes, well, how long you been working and this and that? And I'm just BSing the hell out of him. I want to see what I can get out of this. And he says, okay. He says, we do TV every 3 weeks, Tuesday night in Allentown and Wednesday night in Hamburg, Pennsylvania for a year. That's what they do. Now, I get in the car. I tell him this. I get there. There's like 3 or 4 of us. I get in this Allentown Ag Hall, it was called. It's still there. And here's this big curtain with the rods. You know, they still use them today to separate different things from talent. And yeah, when you get, you got it. And I peek through there. Now remember, I'm nervous, I'm scared, and everybody. Don Morocco, Bob Orton Jr., Bob Backlund, Jimmy Snuka, the who's who of top-notch competitors. You see Vince Senior's in the back. He stays low. He's low speaking. Then you got Vince Jr. He's walking around too. Monsoon is walking around. You got your agents, Tony Gurria, Rick Martel. I mean, the Johnny Rods, Jose Estrada, Blackjack Mulligan, and Monsoon says, hey, you guys come over here. So it's me, a guy named Jeff Craney, and I don't know, I think it was Bob Bradley. He went on to be Bob the Cat Bradley in Texas Wrestling.
Big fan of his also.
What's that?
Big fan of his also. Bob Bradley and Brady Boone. I love both of them. They were interchangeable as Battle Cat, yeah. Brady
Boone, I've wrestled a bunch of times. Great guy. Rest in peace, Brady. You and your family. It was, it was a sad night that night.
So you're all called together.
So we're all called together, and they go, we don't need no superstars here, gentlemen. Do your job. We have superstars. So basically it is, don't try to show nobody up. Don't try to be, king shit on Turd Island. Don't even try that stuff. Okay, so I did what I was told. In 2 days, enhancement work, TV, I would work in 2 days a total of anywhere from 4 to 6 times. That's unheard of because when I was in WWF in the 90s and late 90s, I'd wrestle one time. That's it for TV. And so it was a whole different ball game. The whole thing was just different completely. And they actually just kept on getting bigger, bigger, bigger. Well, I stayed there a year. And I finally said, to get better, I have to hit the road. I have to get more polished. TV, it's good, but I'm not there for, hey, I got a part-time job. I want my friends to see me on TV. You could tell those guys, they got the job face, the singlet looks horrible.
I don't know how to respond, so keep going.
Right. So I don't want that for me. This is what I want, my career. So I went up to Vince Sr. and I was nervous, but I asked him, I said, I need to do blah, 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 blah. I told him. He said he'd get back with me. It may have taken couple months. And now remember, I'm in no rush now, so I'm going to wait on him. But it comes through. I start getting booked with the WWF part-time on house shows. So now I got TV money. And the house show money is good. So I'm on spot shows. I'm here. I'm there. I was, Cap Center. I was there. That's a big one. High schools, stuff like that. I was never at the Garden or anything like that back then. Okay. At that slot. So I do that. And this is good. I'm really happy. And finally he says, Well, I got a place for you to go. He says, you were going to go to Portland, and Jimmy Snuka was going to set that up, but the roster's full. We're going to send you to Crockett Promotion, Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling in North Carolina. Probably the best move of my life. I get in the car, I drive there. Me and Bob Bradley, we're following each other. We're going there. We get a hotel that accommodates wrestlers, that there's studios, they make food for us. It's the Best Western at the Charlotte Airport. We're happy. I think it's Dory Funk Jr. is the booker. Michael P.S. Hayes is there. Of course, plethora of wrestlers again. Steamboat, Youngblood, Rotundo, One Man Gang. Oh my God, Don Kernodle, Sergeant Slaughter. The list goes on and on. But I'm happy as heck. I'm at TV and stuff. Well, first thing we got to do is I get to sit down and go, let's see, I think it was either Dory or Michael P.A. Hayes. You know, we got a wrestling manager here, Gary Hart, and he's a heel. And you're Barry Hart, and you're a babyface. Well, that matters back then. Well, your new name is Bret Hart. Now,
that's right. You were Bret Hart with one T.
There's a real Bret Hart. I'm just happy I got a cool name, and I'm on the NWA roster. Okay, full time, by the way. And I'm going everywhere from Charlotte, every town in North and South Carolina, big, small, Virginia, you name it. That territory was huge, huge. And I'm traveling with, most of the time, the referee, Sonny Fargo, Tommy Young, and my favorite, Rufus R. Jones and Jimmy Boogie Woogie Man Valiant. Most of the time, which I'm ecstatic. They're joking with me and ribbing with me, but just to tune me in, not to hurt me. And all I'm doing is listening to the stories, what to do, what not to do. They steered me so good. I mean, all of these people that I mentioned are in my book, and there's at least 65. I don't care if it was one word. They helped my career. They're in my book. They're not in my book if they steered me the wrong way, and I won't even put them over. So I travel with them. I stay there. They're treating me good. I don't want to skip anything here. But the problem is, Bob Bradley, we're rooming. He lasted 1 week. Bob goes, I'm homesick. I got to go home. Please tell Dory. I said, Bob, you can't just do this. This was our dream. I can't do it. Please tell Dory I'm gone. Well, I did. And, Dory, he's very calm and collective, and I told him, and that was it. And I stayed there a good, let's see, I'm going to say 2 years, and I'm wrestling at least 4 times a week is the least. I'm in indoor shows. I'm in outdoor shows. I'm in fairs. I'm in TV. I'm flying to Canada with Johnny Weaver and Mike Rotundo once a month. I'm in Toronto Maple Leaf Gardens against Leo Burke. I mean, what more? This is it. This is what I want. And I never always followed the rules. Of course, I've been that way to this day. I'm not breaking rules. It's easier to not break the rules in my world than break them. I really got to go out of my way to do that. So it paid off. And I mean, and again, fast forward, new booker, my run is over. Through Jay Youngblood, he gets me booked in Florida, my hometown. I'm a new name, Jack Hart. I'm a new name. I did a promo for Pez Watley. I called myself the Stretcher. I'm going to stretch you, Pez. It's stuck. Stretcher Jack Hart or Jack the Stretcher Hart, whatever. Eddie and Mike Graham love me. They know I went to school there. It was just on fire. And I'm there 2 years, and I beat Mike Graham in his hometown at the Tampa University of Tampa, for the Florida heavyweight title in a tournament.
Now, allow me to interject real quick. For everybody who
Of course.
doesn't know, back in the territory system, that is a very, very big deal. Territory system at this point was starting to shrink a little bit, but Mike Graham had a stranglehold, and he produced a lot of talent, and he had a lot of talent come through all of Florida, and he controlled Florida, basically. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. And so for you to go over Mike Graham, that's a really, really big thing. So go ahead, sir. I did not mean to cut you off.
That's okay, no problem. I'm ecstatic about all this stuff, and wow, I just what you said, I mean, resonates with me because it's true. But the great thing about the late great Mike Graham, I only knew his father 1 month, and he died, and so that was a kick. I said, "Oh God, now he's in charge," but they still took care of me. The Booker's there. I forgot one of them. I forgot. I'm sorry to keep my mind. I know Michael Hayes was back there again, and they had a good roster there, and Mike had a lot to do with stuff. But I'll tell you something about Mike Graham. I've worked with a lot of baby faces in my life. He's got to be in my top 10, top 5, maybe top 3. And when I mean a top baby face, I mean they listen to you as the heel. They work hard. They got the good comeback. They're not prima donnas. And just off the top of my head, Brad Armstrong, Ricky Morton, of course, Mike Graham, the Youngbloods, Tim Horner, Brady Boone. I could go, but the big ones my big ones there are the Armstrongs, especially Scott and Brad, Stevie too, and the father, Bullet.
Oh, Bullet. You gotta love Bullet.
Oh, yeah. Great man. Great man. And one that you won't think, and when I mean things like, I've been in the ring already with Brad, Tom Zink, Brian Pillman, the big one, Tommy Wildfire Rich. They don't say a word. You know why? Because they f***ing respect me. That's why. And I'm going to lead that match and get the match over. What does that mean? I'm going to get Tommy over. I'm going to get Barry over. I'm going to get Earl Hebner over, the referee. I'm going to get the crowd over. I'm going to get the cheap seats over there for $5 up in the grandstand. I'm going to get everybody ringside over. It's not about Barry Horowitz unless I'm told by the booker, you go over in 1 minute, you get yourself over strong. Or guess what? I'll be replaced. Do what you're told, and like Bill Belichick says, do your job. That's a shoot.
No, I love what you're saying here, actually, because, like I said, I started watching you probably 85, 84-ish, okay, when you started appearing on WWF television, okay?
Yep.
So if you don't mind me interjecting for a little bit. And,
no, not at all.
It's your
show.
Well, here's the thing. It's our show. You're the guest. This is your expose today, and we want to talk to you. This is not about Michael. This is about Barry. Now, the most beautiful thing is every time you wrestled a match, you were crisp. You did everything right. You made the other person look better. I hate the term jobber. I hate the term scrub. Enhancement talent, I guess, is what they use. I have so many questions, but I don't want to stop you because you still have part of your journey, so I want you to keep rocking and rolling. Keep rocking and rolling.
Okay, well, I go to Florida, and now my time's up there, and I need to go elsewhere. I wasn't sure, took a little break, was still training hard and whatnot, and let me see what happened. I got, for some reason, I don't know how I got it, who told me, I don't remember who told me this, what wrestler. It escapes me for right now, but it was Memphis. And it was Jerry Jarrett. And I called him up.
Yes.
I talked to him. He says, Where are you, Florida? He says, well, pack it up, move to Nashville. He tells me I've got a deal, I got a job, this, and that. And now I'm newly married, and I have a stepson, and loaded up from Tampa, Florida, and moved to Nashville. Got a nice house I rented for then until I actually built one. and got there. I was there 7 months, and they started off slow, and then all of a sudden, here I am. I'm their Southern Tag Team Champions, me and Chick Donovan, defeating Rocky Johnson and Soul Man S.T. Jones at the Memphis Coliseum in the main event.
Wow.
I go, holy crap. I mean, now I'm getting TV time. If you know Jerry Jarrett, his father-in-law is Eddie.
It wasn't Eddie Sharkey.
No, that's the trainer in Memphis, in Minnesota. The great Eddie Sharkey that still resides in Minnesota. But it was Eddie something that was his father-in-law. I'll never forget. I mean, they wanted me a really hardcore, obnoxious interview with Jerry Lawler involving Elvis and Memphis, and I'm the heel. So I do what I'm told. And then I guess, I can't believe I can't remember Eddie's last name, but I'm told he's the on-screen promoter on TV in Memphis TV. Well, he tells me I was told that I got to beat his ass and lay it in. And I literally punched him in the head, forehead, busted him open, hard way. And I had to drag him around the ring outside on a cement floor by his tie. This man was effed up. But if I didn't do it that way, I don't know if it would have got over. I didn't have a job.
Was it the old WMC studios on Union Avenue there, or across from the police department? Yeah, I live 2 blocks from there. So.
Oh, awesome. I love Memphis. Well, I love the southern states, so you put me in Alabama, Missouri, you put me anywhere.
Oh, you're drawing money.
I just love it. But my main deal is Nashville. Plus, I'm a huge country music fan. Huge. And I might as well just say that I was in 1994, the CMT Video and Song of the Year, The Pickup Man by Joe Diffie. Mr. Technical's right in there.
I never do that, but please keep going because this is awesome.
To what?
I said, please keep going because this is really awesome.
Oh, so anyway, God, where am I? I'm in Memphis.
You're in Memphis, yes.
Phone call in Nashville. Let me get who it was first. First, it was Jimmy Hart, and I'm thinking right away. I'm just thinking too much. I'm going, oh, I'm Jack Hart. Maybe I'll be one of the Harts. Well, it wasn't that way, and I didn't really care. See, I'm not one of these guys in the wrestling business that you could give me so much money and give me the belt and happy. I'd rather don't give me the belt. Let me make more money. Because when I go to the bank, they don't say, did you win or lose? They say, what would you like to deposit today, Mr. Horowitz? Especially in today's world, they know what it's all about, the fans. They do. 90% of them do. Okay? It's just like any other show on TV, Big Brother, Housewives of Beverly Hills, which I commend. But anyway, so I don't need to defend all that. What I do like is to stand out as far as if I do get beat, when I get beat, whatever, it doesn't matter, is they go, this guy could wrestle. He just doesn't, which I saw something the other night on TV. I had to change the channel. I won't go into detail, but they used a guy pretty good in WWF. There was like 3 guys that looked like him, but he finally let go when he went to AEW, and he looks good. His work is good. It's fast. It's catchy. It's AEW. What I don't like is you did this thing really good. You're getting heat outside, and you just turn to the crowd. First of all, turn to the crowd and say, shut up, do this, and do this 3 times. First of all, it's weak, cheap heat. You should know better. If I was the agent in the back and I'm told what to do, I'd pull them aside politely. Don't do that again. Get heat with your work and psychology. And first of all, that's rude. And there's kids there, and I know it's a big world now, but you don't need to do that. It's distasteful. It's no class. Okay? You'll get more heat the way I would do it, and I wouldn't do that. That's jabroni. That's rookie. That's no good.
It's very interesting, and I'm going to sidebar you for a second, is the fact that Adrian Street said he got more heat by slapping Terry Taylor on the booty than he did by insulting any fans, because everybody was like, oh my God, he might be whatever else, but by going through an arm lock and then slapping him on the booty, it was a different time. And oh my God, he had everybody on their feet, and that was amazing.
Well,
all right.
Yeah. Adrian Street's a pure technician, great guy. I worked an angle with him in Florida. And
really?
He's a good guy, and he's a good worker. He was ahead of his time with the flamboyancy.
Oh, yeah.
And had good heat, and he had, if I'm not mistaken, Miss Linda. Which,
yes.
Okay, right. So we're getting off track here.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to there. I go, okay, so Pat Patterson calls me. He tells me what my position is in the company, this, and that. I think I got my first ticket to Detroit. I walk through the airport. You got to be dressed nice. He tells me all the rules and whatnot. And I'm getting towards the gate where I'm supposed to go. This is my first, I'm going from Detroit. Probably it's TV. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember. I'm getting myself sometimes I get confused with the towns and whatnot. But
it's okay.
The
Take your
cool
time.
part was Slick was there, and he stands up and he goes, I know who you are. And he shook his hand. He says, hey, you could drive with me and One Man Gang and Bundy. And I didn't know these guys, but as soon as I got in the car, I knew it was not going to be ribs or joking. We're going to get there on time. We're going to have fun, especially One Man Gang and Slick. They're my type of people. Bundy, a little obnoxious, a little crazy. I could deal with it. I consider it a source. I'm not going to be traveling with the Bulldogs or Harley Race. Okay, nothing against them, but I'm not.
Definitely not your speed at the time, especially being the so-called rookie at the situation going in. Yeah. And I got to say, but I just couldn't imagine with that, between all of you, over 1,000 pounds of meat in that car, how it smelled. But yeah,
Lincoln back in the day.
Oh, well, so you had a little bit more space, but I also between Gang and Bundy, I feel for the suspension on that car.
Oh yeah, you're right. So my career took off, and I made in 1 week of wrestling for the WWF, I made 6 times more than I did. I looked at my best check in Memphis, and I wrestled 7 days in a row, 4 main events, 3 semi-main events.
Yeah.
It didn't even come close to that one check for the WWF. I said, well, Barry, I think you made the right decision. Plus, you're with a big, huge group to get in there. I mean, and I wasn't, and I'm not going to elaborate on this. I got in there on my own. My dad wasn't a wrestler. I didn't have any friends in there to get me in. No favors were done. None of this BS. It was just me being a professional and working my ass off. Because I'll tell you something. I never thought I'd get a push there. I cared, but I didn't care. That's another thing, these guys, I don't understand. You're not doing nothing with me. Yeah, but you're getting paid to be in catering, and you're still on the roster. You're making money, bro. Work out the gym. Keep your mouth shut. 5 years you could retire, especially if you're a woman wrestler in the WWF or WWE, whatever you want to call it. Okay? I just don't understand the thinking process of their ego. It's not that I don't care. You got to think of the longevity. So anyway, getting back to that gorilla position, I'm there on time every time. That's a nerve-wracking thing on Monday Night Raw, and it's nerve-wracking on tapings, because if you're not there, Monsoon will chew you a new asshole. And obviously I was doing things right. I was allowed to call him Gino, which I noticed Arnold Skolin, Bob Backlund, Vince, they got to call him that. Remember now, I'm not in that deal or that clique or nothing, but they liked me. And I was allowed to call Andre the Giant Boss. Not too many people are that too. I think people respect people that are real athletes that aren't egomaniacs or, I don't know, just like them. And top of my list with respect people, I mean, I've got a lot, but all the Samoans from Afa and Sika are the first Samoans I've ever wrestled in my life, to Coco Samoa, to Stevie Afi, to Jimmy Snuka, to everybody up until the bloodline. Although I know Fatu and the Barbarian, every one of them has treated me good in the ring and out of the ring.
That's amazingly awesome. That's a lot of respect.
There may have been one or two that derailed a little bit. I'm not going to mention. I was surprised, but that's maturity and whatnot.
We know about the certain side stories that the Samoans went through and the Fiji and everything else, but that's once again another story. This is the story about Barry Horowitz.
Right.
So we're in the 80s now. So now we are in the WWF, pre-WWE area, and we're going into the golden age. Okay, so Hogan's your golden goose. You are doing enhancement work. Who's your favorite to work with at this point? Because this is now where I can interject and say, I want to know about stuff that I seen, heard. I remember the upstart enhancement groups were you, Dusty Wolf, Brady Boone, Bob Bradley, Izzy Slapowitz, which I know was actually a trainer, but whenever they came through his home territory, he would work. Tom Stone, Mike Sharp. How was that?
There's a bunch of them. Yeah, no, everybody was cool. I mean, I don't know. I didn't. As far as work, what are you exactly asking me?
Well, so there's this group that all of you I had seen on TV. Okay, I guess I worded it wrong. Let me reiterate this. Sure. So, and Steve Lombardi also, of course, Mr. Brooklyn Brawler, whatever else. But you were the ones that we would see on Spotlight, on Saturday morning syndication, and before it was Raw, when it was old WWF primetime. Okay, so whenever I saw a match and I saw you in there, I knew it was going to happen, but you always made it very entertaining. You did your best. You did a great showing at all times. And I always loved your scientific reversals of arms and what you could do as far as grabbing someone's leg and turning it around. And I know that's a lot of it that was taught to you by the Malenkos, and I know that you honed your craft under the Grahams, which you were talking about Mike Graham, and Eddie was his father, I believe, or Eddie and Mike. You know what I'm trying to say. And
sure.
Yeah.
But
brass tacks and baseball bats, that's when I started seeing who Barry Horowitz was. And I was just like, okay, well, Barry's in here. We're going to see another loss. And I don't mean that in any disrespect. It was what happened after that made me the biggest fan of you. So I want you to tell me about your WWF career, but then I want you to talk about that space before you came back, because that is the most important thing to me.
Let's see. Let's just. I'll finish the story about the gorilla position real quick.
Okay.
How many times I've gone up there, ready, boots on, got the pump going, got the oil, everything, and Monsoon says we're gonna have to scratch your match for time reasons. Sorry, Barry. No problem. I mean, I just got paid for putting on my stuff. Never a tantrum. Never put it over. You don't want to do that. There's people around that will tell on you. I promise you. Yeah, better known as stooges. That's not a good word. So I would just go with that, and I just kept on going until I had a severe neck injury. I needed a neck fusion, and I was out 11 months, and I was young. And
ouch.
that was a specialty thing. I was in the hospital a week. Now they'll knock that off in a couple days. But I I was fortunate. They were paying me still. My wife is a career banker, so things like that helped with insurance and whatnot. My house and everything. Everything was cool with all that. So now I could slowly train. I'm only 30, 31 years old and coming back. The only thing I didn't like was I wanted to come back, and they'll always hold a space for you and fit you in. But obviously, they didn't do that for Barry, even though I literally broke my neck for the business. But then they could come back and say, well, you didn't have to do that. Stuff like that. It's the old thing when they do a job interview anywhere, and, we just don't have a place for you today, which is BS. That's just their way of keeping themselves out of court. Okay? That goes for wrestling, too. I mean, no guarantee. There's only one guarantee in pro wrestling. There is no guarantee.
Okay.
So, anyway, I got back together, and there was a ring in a warehouse in Kentucky. This guy owned it. And he says, we can go there anytime. I mean, if it rained or something, I'm sure there was holes in the roof and stuff. It was bad. You couldn't, no restroom, but it had a decent bumping ring. So I said I was ready. I go down there with Tracy Smothers, my neighbor. We also hung out at the gym. I've trained with him. I've worked against him in outlaw matches, indie matches, TV matches, Freddie Floyd matches, Southern Bad Boy matches, him and Steve Armstrong. And I worked out with him, and he gives me this guy to work out with, and it was like I never left the ring. I mean, after 11 months, I told him to back drop me, hip toss me. I'll give you suplexes. Hey, you don't think about it. See? And it was good. What I was displeased about was my spot wasn't held up. Well, we hired Black Bart and we hired Pez Watley. These are all great guys, but you can't fit me in there. They could do anything they want. Let me tell you something. Okay? And they didn't. And at the time, I'm aggressive, and I got a leg to stand on when you push. You know that old song there's a song by John Michael Montgomery, Life's a Dance. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow. You get knocked down by the slamming door, pick yourself up, and ask for more. Well, that's me. In a proper way, not in a jack-off manner. Hey, do you know who I am? None of that crap. I don't buy that or believe in that. But I pursued so much that Vince had to call my house in Nashville and personally tell me that I really thought when he called something was going down, I'm going to get something. Well, it was something. It was a boot out the door. And it wasn't mean or nothing like that. I hooked myself up with WCW after some phone calls. I got to do TV. I got to do Nitros, Thunders. And then all I had to do was work once a month, and I got the same money. That was a sweet deal for 2 years. I'd have probably still been there, but then Vince bought the company.
Well,
Nobody told me he bought it. Nobody contacted me. I guess the pecking order, I wasn't in the right order. When I talk like sourness, this isn't me being pissed or sour grapes. I'm shooting. Now, if you looked at Barry's career like you have, and if you know the outside of my career, the backside, that I don't fail drug tests, I don't show up late, I work my ass off, you could say I'm whining. But when you look at my whole career in and out of the ring, well, something's definitely wrong here. There is. It's called the wrestling business is political to a certain extent. Again, I'm not mad, nothing like that. I still love the business. I don't agree with everything. I strive as hard as I can. I've achieved everything I wanted in the wrestling business but one thing, and I'll hold on to that for a second. And so I stayed in WCW until that ended. I worked the indies. Then I took time off from the indies to train even more at the gym. And I I went back to, I have a degree I am a certified sports nutrition by trade
Cool.
from FSU. And I did that for a few years. I half owned a chain of vitamin company that I think it went under about 6 years ago. I got out of there before that folded. And then I'm seeing the wrestling business and the meet and greet. I'm switching gears again. And I decided to do that and get back on the trail of that. So I would work indie matches. They'd fly me in. I do seminars, the meet and greets, like I said, merchandise. And that's what I was doing. And I progressed on that, let go of the nutrition aspect, and did that. And basically, after that, right now, I'm in the same thing. I'm home with the family. I'm training harder, but I still do my meet and greets, my seminars, of course, my book signing, my merchandise, my pro wrestling tees, t-shirts. There's different things that I've got, my hands in. Besides, it's all wrestling related. The only thing is that I'm not a coach behind the backstage in one of these so-called billion-dollar companies. I guess I'm just not in the clique for nobody. I guess I just don't know how to teach, or I need a tryout, or something of absurd reasoning. Okay? If you're judging a book by its cover, you're reading the wrong book, bro. So I am highly qualified to teach pro wrestling in and out, and not just how to enter the ropes right, take a tackle right, and grab a headlock right, which if I watch 10 matches right now on TV, 7 of them have failed. Because it's my way, the Malenko way. I don't know who taught you. That's good that they taught you that way, and you're getting by it. I want to get by the best, the perfect way. Obviously, it must be good, because when I went to All Japan, I passed all their tests. I must be doing something right. So you're a fool not having me at the Performance Center in Orlando that I live 40 friggin' minutes from. 45 minutes from. No, but you'll bring in people that never worked there, enormous payday, put them up for one night, and teach these guys. I don't even know what they're teaching them. But you're telling me that I've worked for Vince Sr., Jr., been there, you can't bring me in not once, not twice, not even weekly? Wow, I must have some real heat, or jealousy, or the wrestling business.
It could be either.
Or some jabroni don't know how to run shit. Mm-hmm.
Well, what I was alluding to when I talk about your break is my favorite part of your career, which is global. So, first, I have to give you your flowers about global. Okay, so the first time I see you wrestling global, you're working like Sean Waltman, you're working Jerry Lynn, you're working Alex Porto. Like, I could do this. Okay, you were working Chaz Taylor, you were working everybody in the light heavyweight division, and you looked like $1 million. And then you win the light heavyweight title. Now, where I grew up, Global would come on at 4 p.m. on ESPN. I'd be over at my friend Scott Blair's house. Miss you, baby. And if you were coming on TV, if I was in his kitchen making a sandwich, like, Barry's coming on, I'd come out running with half my sandwich. I wanted to watch your matches because what I was seeing was that early Malenko influence and that chain wrestling. You were doing chain wrestling when you were doing, I hate to say the enhancement thing in WWF. They weren't showcasing your talents. You had dancing partners. And that was a pre-X-Pac, whatever, Sean Waltman as Lightning Kid. You had Jerry Lynn just being Jerry Lynn. And you had so many people. And I never really saw you as a light heavyweight. Of course, back then it was under 225, I think was the cover. You know better than I. Okay. But what you were doing is that you were showing chain wrestling and mat wrestling when nobody else was giving that an expose, so to speak. And you were putting on a clinic in those matches. And sure, there were 5 to 6 minutes, but there were 5 or 6 great minutes against high flyers. And somewhat of the future of the 90s. And for that, I thank you, because you gave me an insight to who you really are and what you could really do. Now, 92. I'm not going to let you off the hook on this one, because I told you the story a long time ago when we were on the phone, but I'm going to tell it for everybody here. So I was in a civic class. I was 10th grade. I was not very good at the class. They give us a political cartoon, and it was like there was a pig. It said GOP on it, and these two people are holding on to the tail. And there was a bunch of questions on it. And of course, I didn't care about the class at the time. I didn't. I wasn't invested. Okay, and my teacher just didn't engage. It's not her fault. Just maybe I wasn't engaged. The point is, they had all these questions like, what's GOP stand for? Well, Grand Old Party, everybody knows, but I wrote Grand Old Pig. And then they're like, who seems to be winning? And I just wrote, well, the people holding onto the tail seem to have a good grip. The very last question was, who or what is the winner? And I wrote Barry Horowitz. Your character from Global, the winner, Barry Horowitz, right? So I get everything. It was like the 4 questions, everyone's marked off. And I was like, wait a minute. I beg to differ. Barry Horowitz is the winner. And she's like, how? I was like, well, he's on wrestling every day at 4 o'clock. I'm trying to debate it. Then this kid, Ray, in my class, raises his hand. He's like, I know who that guy is. Barry Horowitz he is the winner. I see him too. She gave me a point because of you. So wow. I want to thank you for that. I think that took my F from to a D- on that one. But the point is, I loved your character. I loved what you did, and I loved how you could expose and show off everything that you were doing. It was great talent. It was great chain wrestling. It was great character building, storytelling in the ring, which I'd never seen from you before. Usually it was go in, clap, do whatever you needed to do, but you always made everybody else look like $1 million. And so for me, it's an honor to have you on the show, but I want to call this part 1 because I feel that we are getting long in the tooth as far as our time limit on this, but I do want to have you back on the show.
Oh yeah. I didn't even know it. Oh wow.
Because I feel that there's so many more stories. I want to know about your road travel partners. I want to know about, I want to know about who you respected, who you didn't respect. You don't have to say names. You can allude. There's so much stuff that we can cover. You have such a storied career. I know you've wrestled Hogan. I know you've wrestled Goldberg. You know, there was a dirt sheet on the internet a long time ago, and the writer was Jewish. And he said his favorite match ever was Barry Horowitz versus Goldberg, with Silverman being the referee. He's like, all kosher.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, but I'd like to know, aside from One Man Gang and Bundy and Slick, like who you like to travel with. I want all these stories, but right now I feel that as we are progressing in time, and I don't want to use up your valuable time, we are going to go into recommendations. Wrestle Magic. All right, Mr. Horowitz, I want to know what kind of recommendations you would give to anybody who's listening right now, anybody who's a fan of the show and a fan of you, a movie, a recipe, a book, anything. What would you like to turn people on to?
I want to turn them on to one song. Actually, there's a couple, but it's basically the couple is same trailer, different park. So they all relate. They correlate. So I'm going to have to pick one of my favorites. I'll tell you the others if you don't mind, but the favorite song of my career is The Climb by Miley Cyrus. If you listen to the words and relate to my career or your career, anybody's career, it's The Climb. It's about paying dues. It's so simple. It's so simple. The other one is The Dance by Garth Brooks. Same format, same trailer, different park. And there is a bunch, but The Climb really gets to me every time I think about it, my career. Of course, The Dance. And the newest one, which I didn't know about, and it's old, is The Walk by Sawyer Brown. If you noticed, each one word. Dance, The Climb, The Walk. It's all about paying dues and getting that climb going upstairs. going up to the pinnacle, to the top, to this, to that. And it means a lot to me. There's movies, there's this, but I'm gonna relate my career with the music, the video is so, but the music, the words, phenomenal.
That's very awesome. Can you tell people how to book you and how to reach you on Twitter, Instagram, everything else, please?
Well, sure. I'm on Facebook. I'm all over YouTube. ProWrestlingTees.com, KWK.com. It's got 4 brand new action figures of mine, best I've ever seen done by a company and treating me so well. Oh my gosh. As far as the seminars and the meet and greet all over, there was something. I have a voice book is my next project. Audio voice book will be the next project as we speak. The wheel is turning on that. The book is done. That's been out over a year. That's really cool. You can get it on Amazon. It's really cool. I like it. I like what I did with that. It took a couple of years, and then actual took about over a year to do all the interviews in that. So I'm not on Twitter or nothing like that. I've been on some major podcasts in my life, though I will say that, spanning from here to England, all over the world, and traveling, and that's basically it as far as everything I'm doing.
Honestly, it's been a blessing to have you on the show today. I really feel like I got to talk to you a little bit, but I want to hear more of your story and find out more about the real Barry Horowitz. But definitely this is going to have to be a part 1. We're going to have to do part 2 because I've got so many questions that I need to ask you. I just don't feel it's fair to keep you over your time. I will ask you one question by a man named Don Cooper. He wants to know where the pat on the back came from. I know it's the $1 million question everybody asks you. But
it is. It's basically, I was in a wrestling match in high school, and I don't know. I think I double-legged the guy, or I waist-cinched him, took him down, and I looked up and I saw I got an extra point or two or something, and I really didn't think I was going to progress in that match. And I jumped up. I remember now, I'm only in, 10th grade at the time, and I pat myself on the back half-assed. I don't know why. Of course, I got disqualified, reprimanded by my coach. This is in pro wrestling, which he despised. I'll never forget that, too. Hated pro wrestling. He says, the only real wrestler in pro wrestling is Jack Briscoe, which I definitely agree with and commend highly. Jack Briscoe is the friggin' man. The ultimate babyface, the ultimate NWA World Heavyweight Champion. So I understood all that. I said, you know what? I'll stay with this amateur wrestling. I apologize. I'll never do it again. I'm putting that in my back pocket, putting a pin in it, and I'm going to save that because I'm going to be a hell of a heel. And I brought that bad boy out in Memphis, Tennessee. I had a manager. I did it right. I got some tips on don't overkill, don't underkill from Tony Gurria on certain things with the pat on the back and whatnot. And it's mine, and I got it over. So if you see anybody else doing it, oh, that's fine. Thank you for the props. Thank you, because if I'm a wrestling fan, I'm not thinking of this guy. I'm thinking, hey, isn't that Barry Horowitz's deal? Okay.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
They could do that. If you want to be a wannabe, that's fine. I will not copy people's signature things. As far as a headbutt, a European uppercut, a snap suplex, the Texas cloverleaf, the Scorpion Deathlock, stuff like that. Okay, it's been renamed by others. There's nothing wrong with that. And then if you could do some certain things that a lot of people don't do. And that's I just stick with it.
Well, honestly, I think okay.
I got to say one other thing. We do have to have chapter 2 because there were some things you said about my chain wrestling and said some other things I didn't get to reply on. if I replied on about 4 things you said, we'd be here till 8:30. Seriously, because and I'm not just saying to do this for an interview. I'm saying this for my career, for me as a person, but for you as a fan, and respecting me as a competitor.
I absolutely do respect you.
Most people and most people in the wrestling business, if they don't like me or anything, it's got to be jealousy, and they're disrespectful. And why would you do that when you're making quadruple what I'm making a year? Maybe you should go back to wrestling school and learn how to wrestle.
I don't have all the answers. I never got to be a worker. My body wouldn't develop like the way that everybody else's was, and that was like my dream. Someday, I don't know if I'll ever have the chance to be a coach or a backstage agent. I mean, I live very close to Ohio Valley Wrestling. I just don't know if I'll have the time. I'm a very busy person, but I love picking your brain. I want to learn more about you. I want our listeners and everybody who puts their earballs on this to understand more about you and everything you did. Now, there's so many questions I have as far as people you worked. I didn't even touch on so many things. So how about in about a couple more weeks, we do this again? What do you think?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, tag me in.
All right, this sounds fantastic. I always like to sign out like this. My name is the Gardener, Michael Gross. You can find me on X at 144Captain, and I always sign out with the birth of depression is the death of creativity. Stay creative.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. I mean, I've got a bunch of just interject here real quick. I got a bunch of leaving lines and punch lines, and some of them are religious, and some of them are just cool, and some of them are wrestling, and some of them. So I'm just going to leave you with one of my fast ones, if you don't mind. And
do it.
We could have a contest maybe on the next show with other jargons, and I'll leave you with this. I'll leave you with that. But what I will leave you with this tonight is, I'm Mr. Technical, and you're not.
Jimmy, drop the hammer.
Wrestle Magic.